There's a movie called White Wolves, Cry of the Wild 2. I got this because I saw the trailer. Looked like it might be decent. Decent, little short, little entertaining sort of movie in the vein of Alaska with these kids who get lost in the wilderness, and it's actually shot in real, on location. And you got Amy Dolenz from She's Out of Control and Can't Buy Me Love. You have Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zach in Saved by the Bell. And you have David Moscow from Big and Newsies. You have Amy O'Neill, who was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's one of the main reasons why Amy O'Neill's in this, and she hasn't been in a lot of stuff after Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is too bad because I really liked her in that movie. And Matt McCoy, who was in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, played the husband. And it's only an hour and 14 minutes, so I thought it looked good. It looked a lot better than the original White Wolves. That movie's a piece of shit. Some mystical bullshit in that one. Anyway, that's White Wolves 2. Here's Delta Force 1, The Lost Patrol. I got it. It's Gary Daniels. I'm a sucker for Gary Daniels. I like Gary Daniels. So, it's like $1. I'm like, we'll see if this is any good. It's also on DVD as well. I believe this, and it's directed by Joseph Zito, who directed Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And I think he's also the guy who directed Red Scorpion. And he also directed the original Missing in Action. And it's actually produced by Yoram Globus. So I guess one of the Canon guys, got produced a few more films, I guess, in the late 2000s. And this is one of them. Delta Force 1, The Lost Patrol. Also has Mike Norris in it as well. So I'll give it a look. It's probably not much of anything. But, I also love that name, Bentley Mitchum. So that's Delta Force 1. Here's Breeders. I thought I had it, but I don't know for sure. I got this because if I'm ever going around to reviewing really movies that I personally find really shitty, this is one of them. It's a really shitty movie. It's terrible. No amount of titties in the world can save this movie. It is awful. It is a terrible movie. Pulse-pounding suspense and impressive makeup effects by Variety. Wow, really? I don't think they know what impressive makeup effects are. I actually liked the loose remake Breeders more than the original. But that's just me. But basically what it is, aliens come to Earth and then want to breed and make out with hot chicks and, basically get them to be their carriers of their seed. That's pretty much it. It's exactly what you think it is. It's called Breeders. So, that's Breeders. Here we have a movie called The Perfect Tenant. Linda Pearl, Maxwell Caulfield again. Maxwell Caulfield plays a crazy guy. It's one of those typical direct-to-video thrillers. It's really generic, but it was cheap, and I'll give it a look sometime. I don't know anytime soon, but sometime. So that's The Perfect Tenant. Here's the Best of Saturday Night Live, hosted by Robin Williams. I like Robin Williams, and I didn't know this existed in the first place. These are really good to have. Star Maker did a really good job when they had the rights to SNL footage back in the 90s. And if you're a big fan of SNL, the only way to get some of these really rare, clips and, semi-full episodes is to buy these tapes. And definitely the only way to get the clips of footage of the infamous 79 and 1980 season, the 80-81 season, which is considered the season that's notoriously awful, like the worst season ever that almost ended SNL entirely. You're gonna have to get one of those tapes that says the best of 80 and 81. So it's nice that we have the first 5 seasons of SNL, and I thought they were going to continue after the first 5 seasons, but they haven't done that. And I think that's really too bad. I really think that it should continue. Universal should continue to release more, instead of just the first 5 seasons. I guess they didn't sell as well as they'd hoped, but it's really too bad that now you just only have the first 5 seasons, and the only way to get the other full seasons is unofficially through iOffer or something, or to get these VHS tapes that don't even have full seasons. You just have, a handful, handpicked, series of episodes or, clips from that season. So I think that's really too bad. But that's pretty much, if you're a fan of SNL, the only way you're going to get some clips or some actual physical copy of some of these episodes and some of those clips that aren't the first 5 seasons, you're going to have to, pick up some of these VHS tapes. So that's a reason why, if you're a big fan of SNL, you should definitely still have a VCR. So then when you see stuff like this for cheap, you can pick it up and be able to watch it. So this is the best of SNL, and it's got actually has 2 episodes. They were hosted by Robin Williams. Now it doesn't have. I don't think it has. That's pretty much. It's 104 minutes, so it's actually says it's different runtime on the tape here. It says 108, but these are the cut episodes probably for the syndication. But that's still cool. I mean, it basically is just the whole show, but cut out when the musical numbers and commercials. The show's an hour long, so if you cut out, or is it 2 hours? I think it's an hour and a half sometimes. So if you cut out the musical numbers and some commercials, around an hour. But this is 2 episodes, so I guess I'm gonna cut out some other segments. But I still think it's still worth it though, because I've actually never seen. I don't think I've ever seen any of the clips of Robin Williams hosting. He played Ronald Reagan in one of these segments. He was in a Shakespeare sketch. This is basically the gist of the sketches. You have the opening monologue, Robin Williams. You have Fans, which has Paul Simon, Art Garfunkel, and Jan Hooks. You have Shakespeare sketch with Robin Williams. He plays Shakespeare. Yeah, you have Weekend Update with Dennis Miller. You have something called New York Word Exchange with Phil Hartman. It's probably a commercial parody. Sweeney Sisters at Baycrest with Jan Hooks, Nora Dunn, Robin Williams, Paul Simon, John Lovitz. Master Thespian with Robin Williams and John Lovitz. Thoughtful Insight with Kevin Nealon and Good Nights, Robin Williams and everybody. Then there's more. You have the opening with Hans and Franz. Then you have a monologue with Robin Williams. Ad for Compulsion with Jan Hooks, Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey, Nora Dunn. Proud Dad with Robin Williams, skit. Weekend Update with Dennis Miller. Ace Awards with Robin Williams, Dana Carvey, John Lovitz, Victoria Jackson, Phil Hartman, Nora Dunn, Jan Hooks, and Kevin Nealon. Then you have something called I Love You with Robin Williams and Jan Hooks. You have Discover with Robin Williams and Phil Hartman. Robin Jr. with Robin Williams and Dana Carvey. And then you have Good Nights. So, which I guess Dana Carvey must play like his son or something, which sounds interesting. But anyway, I always like SNL, and I like Robin Williams. So this will be fun. That'll be fun to watch. Here's The Annihilators. No release into Matt's awesome idea for the Expendables B team. This stars Christopher Stone from The Howling, Andy Wood from Rambo First Blood Part 2, who I don't know who the hell he played in First Blood Part 2. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs from Welcome Back, Kotter. I remember him more for these god-awful action movies he was in, released by PM Entertainment. There's some guy named Jim Antonio who was from The River with Mel Gibson. And I have Garrett Graham, who I remember from Phantom of the Paradise. So it's an action flick, and I had like a Star Maker or Good Times release of this, and I'm glad I could get the actual New World release, because I always like these New World releases. I like the way they look. They're pretty cool. So that's The Annihilators. Here we have Big City releasing of The Vault, which looks like a piece of shit. This looks terrible. I saw the trailer for this. This looks awful. There's no bones about this. This looks absolutely god-awful. And, I mean, yeah, just... What? That would be kind to that movie. I haven't seen it yet. Watch the trailer for that piece of shit, and then tell me it's not a piece of shit. Here's another full moon flick, Lurking Fear, which I've been curious about. It's based on, it's directed by, it's produced, is it produced by Stuart Gordon? It's produced by Charles Band. It's, there I go again, getting Stuart Gordon confused with the actor Jeffrey Combs. Why? Of all things to get confused with, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it's got Jeffrey Combs in it, and I think, yeah, Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser is in this as a lead, I believe. And that'll be interesting to see. I remember reading a Fangoria article about it, so I thought it'd be interesting to give this one a look. Now, I also have it on DVD, but like it's just a VHS rip anyway, and I'd rather just have, because it's a 20-pack, so I'd rather just have the VHS I can show whenever I review it or whatever. It's also based on a H.P. Lovecraft story, loosely based on one. So that's Lurking Fear. A little look at the monster there. That's pretty much what it looks like. But anyway, Lurking Fear, full moon release. Here we have Dead of Night, which is a movie that I got because it's also known as Lifehouse. I don't know if this is on DVD, and this is a movie that was on the Fangoria 101 Most Unheralded Horror Movies list. It said it was pretty good, and you know, I like to pick up movies that are on that list, that are in that book. Which is, it's a book that lists all these horror films, 101 Most Unheralded Horror Films. So I thought I'd give it a look. So I'm glad to have it. Dead of Night. Which isn't a bad title, but it's pretty generic. Actually, don't mind Lighthouse a little bit better. It separates itself more. There's a film called Warbus, which I picked up because it was cheap, and I like, you know, maybe I shouldn't see. It's probably a very generic action flick, direct-to-video action movie. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but yeah, pick it up. Why not? Here we have a movie called Night Watch, which is a sort of horror flick. It stars Elizabeth Taylor. And you also have Billy Whitelaw from The Omen, who played the crazy nanny. And it's got a theme song by George Barry and Sammy Kahn, I guess. And Lawrence Harvey is in it. I guess he was in The Alamo. So, yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. I know it's on DVD, but it's like one of those Warner Archive ones. So you have to order online, so I'm fine with having it on VHS. It's Night Watch. Here we have Maniac Cop 3. Came in a lot that I won. I don't have the second film, and I know they're coming out on Blu-ray and DVD soon. So I'll definitely... I got those on my wish list, the Synapse releases. But I remember Maniac Cop 3 being alright. It was okay. It wasn't anything great or spectacular, but it was serviceable. I remember it not being as good as the second one, though. I remember the second one being really good. I really liked the second one. But it was okay. That was Maniac Cop 3. Here's Slaughterhouse 5, the movie based on the novel by Kurt Vonnegut. I got a cool, fun story about this movie. I chose to read the novels Mother Night and by Kurt Vonnegut and Slaughterhouse 5 for a history class that I had in high school. And it was a group project, and no one else wanted to choose those books to read. Everyone else chose Grapes of Wrath, that kind of stuff, or something by Ernest Hemingway. And I wanted to read Slaughterhouse 5, so on the way to read it is by reading Mother Night as well. Slaughterhouse 5. So teacher made a deal with me. It's okay, as long as you do the reading and do the reading assignments for this. And it says, if you can find a copy of the movie and you bring it to, after class and watch it with me, I'll give you an A. I'll basically give you, and I was like, what? And then I did that and I got an A. It was so amazing because that teacher was awesome. I don't remember his name at the moment, but I remember he was awesome. I mean, that's really cool. It was like, yeah, I'll give you an A for just watching this movie with me. So since then, I haven't seen it, though. I haven't seen it since then. So I was glad to pick it up. Slaughterhouse 5. It's a pretty depressing, movie, though. Here's got it for cheap, Militia with Dean Cain. Doesn't really look like much. That might be a serviceable action flick. At least watchable. Stacy Keach is also in as well as Jennifer Beals. I think it's Jennifer Beals' post-nose job, and it's really hard to even recognize her. She's an example of an actress that... you're thinking like, oh, you can't be that. I mean, her nose is the only thing that made her stand out. It kind of is. And when she got rid of it, she just looked very generic. She never had that unique look anymore, so she didn't get the same roles.